Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit, live here from PAX East 2013. I am here at the Carbine Studios booth, and a while ago at Gamescom we did about 8 minutes of Wildstar. This time we're going to do a little bit more, so why don't you introduce yourself to the audience today?
Sure, my name is Stephen Frost. I am the design producer at Carbine Studios.
All right, so this is Wildstar. It's been in development for quite some time. We saw a very, very early version back in 2011. So you're going to show us what's changed.
Indeed. Yeah, so today we're going to show off the Dominion. This is the other faction. We showed off the Exiles at Gamescom 2011. So we're going to see the opposing side here. We've also we've got a new class that we're showing off today, which is the Stalker. This is the Stalker right here, and this is on the Draken. It's more of a kind of a dragon-themed class. Yeah, and then we have the Cassian Spellslinger as well today. Cassians are humans. And then we have the Makari, which is a giant 9-foot-tall robot with the Warrior class. And I'll let you pick, sir. What would you like to see?
Let's see. Giant 9-foot-tall robot versus dinky human and guy with silly horns on his head. I think we're going to go with the giant robot.
Giant robot, that is my favorite as well.
Unpredictable. What can I say?
Now, would you like to customize it all, or you just want to get into the mechanics?
Let's have a look at a little bit of customization.
Sure.
It's always good. Everyone that plays MMOs wants to know about this, so we'll run through a few more. Quite a significant number of facial styles here, since you are, of course, made of metal.
Yeah, indeed.
That one looked like a Cylon, which I was very happy with. I'll probably pick that one.
Yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
So we've got the different colors as well. And this is actually just a limited kind of set of stuff. We're going to have bone sliders and stuff like that, so you can modify your face more and get a little more detail. But for the floor, we wanted to get people
stylized. Let's go with that.
Cool. We've got the hairstyles as well.
Yep.
Robot facial hair, kind of weird. We just wanted to change stuff in robot hair.
Robot beards, man. Why not?
Exactly. So we got those.
There's no good reason not to.
So we'll go with that bad boy right there. And then we've got eye color as well, so it changes the hair and the eye color. So we'll go with pink.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into it. And we have the Soldier and Explorer paths. Player paths are a little bit different from the class. This is more of a, what kind of gameplay do you like? We'll give you more of that. So
Soldier one has to assume involves a bit of fighting.
Lots of fighting, lots of killing.
Explorer, on the other hand.
Lots of exploring. So not as much killing, but you're going to find things like hidden tunnels and collapsible shafts that take you into Nexus itself, and you can go to the top of mountains, all that fun stuff. So which one would you like to see on that?
All right, well, let's start with combat, and then we'll go for something a little bit more passive after that.
Okay, so we'll go Soldier.
Yep.
All right. We'll get into the game. All right, we're going to have to call this Demo.
Always good to have a username.
Demo Bro 1.
It's a well-respected name in the robot community.
The Demo Bro robots. Yeah. Brobots, if you will.
Naturally.
Yeah, really, really well-respected. So you're coming out of Crimson Isle, which is the Draken starter experience for the player on the Dominion side. You just kicked a lot of Exile ass, and you blew up their base. So that's cool. And you're coming in here to the Draken area known as Daradoon. The Dominion, which is the faction you're on, have been shipping in animals from all over Nexus that are a little more badass than the indigenous animals. So you'll see ships and stuff flying around, dropping in crates with badass creatures for you to fight.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is the Draken, man. I mean, they have lots of meat and heads and skulls and all sorts of stuff kind of just spiked around the area, if you will. So we'll get into it by doing some quests, and we'll do some path stuff, and we'll start here with Huntress Kezia.
So are these quests and NPCs voice acted?
Indeed they are.
Okay.
So we have some pretty awesome voice talent. We have people like Tara Strong, Fred Tatasciore, Jim Cummings, pretty well-respected names in the VO community doing a lot of stuff. We have general specific VO is what I'll call it. So if an NPC is kind of sad or angry, we have sad or angry style sounding VO, but the quest text is not exactly one-to-one on these things.
Certainly. I'm noticing that you start off at kind of a slower speed, and when you keep running, it seems to speed up.
Right. So, well, what I was doing actually was hitting the shift to sprint key.
Okay. So that based on the blue bar in the top left of the screen, I assume,
No, actually, this is a rep mechanic that we have. These are Huntresses. So if I kill stuff next to a Huntress, I get more rep.
Right. All right.
So what we actually do is down here, there's a little bar. You can see the pink bar going down here.
Nice.
That also has our dashes. So if I double dash, boom, I go forward like that. That little marker tells you if I have another one in the chamber or not.
Fair enough.
So we are on a quest to kill these razor tail monkeys or these Pumera over here. But I happen to have a soldier quest to experiment and use a sticky grenade on these guys.
Okay, so kind of a little tutorial quest.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've got some other people in the environment here.
Which means they're going to be stealing all your mobs, of course.
Which our MMO players are wont to do.
Yeah.
So in the interim, we're just going to kill some of these guys.
I really noticed you also seem to have a double jump of some description there.
Yes, we have double jump in our game, which is pretty rare for MMOs, I would say. You know, it allows us to have lots of platforming fun with the Explorer class quite a bit. So I just threw my sticky grenade. He's banging it against the ground like it's a coconut, and he just gibbed into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, it's like, where is he? He's not of this earth anymore.
That is correct. So the cool thing about this is I'm using layered content here. So what that means is I'm getting double credit for things. I'm doing one thing, and I'm getting credit for not only my path, but my mission here as well.
Yeah, you're doing the whole quest optimization thing of where you pick up 6 or 7 quests and like, what's the most optimal and fastest way I could pull this off?
Right, exactly. And we want to reward players for doing that. I mean, when we design our content, that's what we're thinking of. We call that layered content. So we got, I've got another bro hanging out and helping me out with this.
Now, I'm noticing you're tapping the key quite a lot here. This is an MMO in the action style, so auto-attacking, is that something that's actually in the game? No.
Not at all. No, yeah, what we're doing, we're a lot more skill-based than the average MMO. The cool thing, too, is you just saw me doing that spin attack. That's a press and hold ability. So if I, so look, a creature just dropped in from this cage. He's a higher level guy, so this should be a fun fight. Oh, man.
Beta is beta, ladies and gentlemen. It happens every now and again.
Indeed.
Don't worry, we'll get this up and running for you momentarily.
Yes. Give it a second here to load.
Yeah. I'll make a cut here, so.
Perfect. Yeah, give it a second. It'll cop, man.
Pedal faster.
Yeah, it's got to be this machine because they're running fine. Goody. Awesome, and I'm dead.
Well, that was unfortunate.
That was unfortunate. So I'll res and run back there.
Sure, we'll get back to where we were, and then I'll make a cut, and we'll just continue.
Okay, so here we are. Fighting this guy. So what I did there also was I just interrupted him when he was doing a telegraph.
Right.
When we do that, they go vulnerable. And so, like, see that he's purple right now. He actually takes more damage when he's in that state.
Okay.
So I'm going to interrupt him again so he doesn't move. And we took him out. We also have the loot pinata there. You saw lots of things just exploded out of him. And they have different things. Sometimes you get quests off of that stuff, too. So
so it's also got area loot by the looks of it.
So
thank God for that. I'm sick of hitting that key over and over again.
So what we do here is we can take a quest off of that, and basically I can go turn that in and get quest credit for doing that. So from here, we'll go check out the Granok area. So to have some good old-fashioned... Oh, wait, before I do that, actually, this is a trade skill node.
Okay.
So you notice that if I hit that, it also loot pinatas. So we wanted trade skill nodes that you can interact with by using combat. We have a fun combat system, so we figured why not
When in doubt, hit it.
Right, exactly.
Works.
Yeah. So the cool thing is I can take these Spirovine seeds and go back to my house and actually plant them on a farm plot if I have them on the outside of my house. So
I mean, tell us a little bit about housing. This is something that you kind of unveiled here, and it seemed like it was something that people were impressed by when they saw it in the footage that was rolling. In fact, we can put it over this footage while we're traveling to the next area. So how does player housing work in this game?
So player housing is basically a convenience. The thing that, if you like customizing stuff, you'll love player housing, but for people like me, I'm not always a housing guy, but the thing about it that's cool is if you're into PvP or you're into dungeons, you're into any of those things, basically we basically just say, hey, on a plot outside you can have a raid portal, or on a plot outside you can have trade skill hubs. You know, we wanted to have buffs and things like that that are easy for people to use. But not only that, if you log out in your house, you get rest XP.
Okay.
But the more stuff that's in your house, you get more rest XP.
Oh, nice. And one assumes this is all instanced, yeah?
It is instanced for right now. But you can invite people over to your house,
Nice.
and you can hang out with your guildmates, or you can hang out with your buddies, or that sort of thing. And you can also turn it off to say, like, I don't want anybody coming near my stuff.
So if you're the guy in the guild with the raid portal, you're going to be very popular all of a sudden, right?
Exactly, exactly. So here we are in the Granok area. The Granok are the big rock guys that you may recognize from the Gamescom 2011 demo.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just going to take them out here. So there's 3 of them. We'll see how I stack up against it. But you'll notice the way that I'm using the combat. I'm hitting one ability and affecting 3 people in it.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's essentially a two-handed sword, so it inherently cleaves regardless of what ability you're using.
Right. So if I also and I also want to avoid these telegraphs. So as I'm doing it, I'm doing my press and hold, moving out of those telegraphs, taking out 3 guys at once. And I can also interrupt them if I need to save my time. I just kicked that person to death. I just want to make that
That's
note.
always good.
You know what I mean?
Now, can you move while swinging, or are you rooted to the spot in the middle of combat?
You can move while swinging. So you notice.
Oh, so you can do that. There we go.
So that is definitely something we wanted to do. Again, being an action-based combat game, we wanted to have stuff where people are, moving and
able
actually
to move
using,
every now and again.
Now,
I assume dodge allows you to cancel out of attacks, or...
that is correct.
Yep.
We also have different classes that have stuff that will make you root. For the warrior, they're a lot more mobile. But we have casters and stuff like that will root you. But usually they hit for more damage. So.
All right. That's just totally fine.
So
I don't think there's a wrong way to do that system, really. It just depends on how you want your game to actually flow.
Right. And it depends on the class, really.
Yes, absolutely.
So here we have a soldier holdout. This one, these kind of holdouts change. Sometimes you have to protect people, and you have to fight off the bad guys that are trying to hurt those people. In this case, I'm just trying to survive against a large group of people.
Okay.
So I'm going to kill these guys real quick. And what we do is we have a guy working, literally, this is his job. He works on soldier holdouts to make sure that they're fun and different. You'll notice that I have now 2 melee guys and a ranged guy, so I kind of have to think, well, how do I want to combat this?
How do I deal with that? Yeah.
So if I drag
them
them
around to get through.
Right. Now if I go over to him, they're both coming over at me, then I can kind of handle them at once.
That's fair enough. Now, holdouts themselves, are those missions that every class will play, or is it just the soldier?
It's just a soldier. Now, but here's the cool thing, though. So let's say you have an explorer buddy that's playing with you.
All right.
They can go in too, and it will scale. So the more people you get in here, the more kind of combat you'll have in there that's not just made for one person.
But if, say, you hate the idea of holdouts, you can play another class and you'll never see them.
That is correct. Yeah, we wanted to make stuff, that was for people. These are all based on the Bartle types, if you're familiar with those.
Yeah.
Where you have killers, you have explorers, you have lore nuts. And we added the settler, which is more of a kind of a socializer. Now, that wasn't a Bartle type per se, but in MMOs, you have people that just want to hang out.
Yeah, they hang around in Orgrimmar and they talk.
Right.
That's pretty much kind of all they do. But I've got to ask, have you managed to implement specific quests for those classes yet?
Of course we have. We're gonna unveil those in the coming months.
Okay.
They're not here today to check out, but it is something that we're very excited about, and we can't wait to show it. But yeah, it's definitely something that we've been working on. So I just interrupted that guy.
Yeah, you're not exactly skimping on the size when it comes to a lot of these enemies by the looks of it.
No, we are going hardcore on these guys. We wanted to make sure that it was something that was kind of has a difference in size and look.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for MMOs, I think having a different looking... That was really close, by the way. Jeez.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed the red around the screen, uh-oh, this is not going to go well.
Right, and this is something we don't have here, but you'll kind of see it in the future, and it's awesome in PvP. We have screen effects, so they will affect you. So really quick, I'll show this guy too. I'm going to let him get to his helicopter, but this is an environmental hazard. So I'm supposed to stop this pilot from getting into the ship. I'm going to let him go.
Okay.
So now he's in the ship. Great. I can't believe I didn't stop him. But as a result, if I kind of hang out in the area, eventually he'll start...
He'll start attacking you.
Right.
Okay.
So now I could have stopped him.
And then that would have never happened.
Correct. So let's show off this guy right here. I'll kill him. Boom. There we go. So he can't get to his ship. So this is pretty much the Granok area. There's another micro in here. There's a quest to blow up their ship, which is kind of over beyond the horizon.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of show off some more areas, so we'll make as much progress as we can in here.
Now, I've got to ask, what engine are you currently running this game on?
This is proprietary.
Okay.
A lot of our existence at the beginning was just coming up with a scripting system for the designers to use, the stuff to render this, to get seamless zones, to do all that fun stuff. We have some really, really smart people working on this stuff. And it looks great from our angle, and our designers love our tools because we spent the time actually to make something specifically for an MMO to be kick-ass. Here's another environmental hazard. This guy's coming through and lacing the area with bullets.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
No, not at all.
He's a terrible shot, but he's not messing around.
Indeed. So we'll go over here. Got about 13 minutes left in this demo. So what we're going to do is I'll show off the Moody Area.
Okay.
Now, the Moodies are these undead kind of tiki guys that are indigenous to the planet. They are necromancers and obsessed with raising the dead.
Sure.
So, like you do. So we're going to go over there and get them off of our land. That's a little jabbit. I like killing innocent creatures, excuse me.
Because why not? You've always got to throw them into the game every now and again.
I have a gigantic sword. If I can't kill an innocent creature every now and again,
sure,
it's kind of a waste. So the other thing, too, that I can kind of talk about regarding our creature types is while that jabbit didn't really offer much of a fight, most of our creatures have different telegraphs. So the cool thing is that as I progress throughout the game, you know, this is a level 6 to 14 zone. So we have telegraphs that are not hard to evade.
Yeah.
But as things get increasingly harder, so do the telegraphs. They grow larger in size. The safe areas get smaller. It's something that we wanted to challenge the players as they were going through, so it wasn't just the same old, same old.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, it's always important, I think, when looking at MMO to talk about plans for Endgame.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask, rating?
Definitely.
What kind of rating?
So we're talking about 40-man raids right now.
40?
40.
That's interesting because a lot of games have shied away from that. Why did you decide to go big again?
So here's the thing with MMOs. You have a large demographic of people that you've got to impress, and the 1%ers want 40-man raids. You know? There are people that hate 40-man raids, and you don't have to do them. That's fine. But there are people that love the 40-man raid, so we're going that direction. And that's endgame stuff only.
Sure.
We have 5-man dungeons, and we have pug stuff, and we have the usual dungeon experience for people, but we also have this 40-man stuff coming in.
So I've got to ask then, if you're targeting, say, the 1% with that at the end game, what happens when people hit cap and they're like, well, you know what, I'm not much of a raider. What else can I actually do?
Well, excellent question. We have lots of stuff. So if you're a PvPer, we have what are called Warplots. Oh, hold on, I got this dynamic event coming in. So this cage is being dropped in. And I got this badass creature that kind of just popped out of it.
Okay.
So just wanted to point that out. For PvP, we have stuff like Warplots. Warplots is like violent housing. You basically just set that up, and I can create my own Warplot. And it means that me and my guildmates can fight against another Warplot, and you just need to tear that base apart is really what it comes down to. So that's for them. Trade skill stuff, I can't talk about too much, but it plays a big part in Endgame.
Okay.
And it's not just the usual, I collect 4 things, and I mix the 4 things, and I have a new thing. It's got a lot more meat to it, and there's more mini-game aspect to it, and it takes a little more skill, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing that once you're ready to unveil it.
Indeed.
Speaking of ready to unveil, are you guys targeting 2013 release for this?
We are targeting a 2000 release. We're also offering the caveat of when it's ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Nothing worse than releasing an MMO and then finding within 2 days you run out of content and you don't want to go back.
Right. Here's the thing. Our executive producer, Jeremy Gaffney, says this all the time. No better way to set fire to a pile of dev money than making an MMO and not having something interesting at the end game for people to do. Because, I mean, we have people, if you look at games where you have people reaching cap in, like, what, 72 hours or something like that, when it should take, you know, hopefully longer than a month, we have to be prepared for stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
I think the worst thing you can ever do is underestimate how much people play a particular game and how fast they will actually hit level cap.
Right. So this guy, I'm going to let him chain. Hold on a second. He's going to go back, hopefully, in a second. There we go. Okay, good. So I'm going into a higher level area than I should be, but I'm just going to show it off. I'm probably going to die. I'm giving you the warning. I'm not terrible. It's just higher level than I should be.
That's how it should be,
Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to talk about this guy. So this is Game Hunter Jaresh. This guy is actually a dynamic quest giver. So what will happen is he'll run around the zone. He'll unpack his stuff. We have socket and plug technology, so we basically put this stuff in the game so that he comes in, has collision, has the whole thing. But when he wants to, he can pack up all his stuff, walk along the path, and go to a new spot and set up camp there.
All right.
So this is a cool little dynamic thing that just happens to be
something you could stumble upon, and it's got to be the same place every time.
Sure. Oh, one other thing, since I have game ADD here. you'll notice Metal Maw there in the background.
Okay.
That is a world boss. So he is excessively hard to destroy by yourself.
Are we talking level cap kind of boss here?
We're not talking level cap. We are talking, though, probably 15 people at this level range.
At this level, okay.
So it's, I mean, you could come back and level cap and try to beat him. It's possible. But we wanted to have stuff like this in the zone so that it's an MMO, right? We want to have lots of people attacking this thing, and we want to have, you know.
So, I mean, are you obviously going to limit the respawn time on this thing, or is there going to be a queue of people waiting to fight it?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I think that there is a respawn timer on him because what happens is he comes in this cage, it takes a little bit of time, then he comes out, and then we're good to go. So somebody's fighting him, I think, right now, which isn't smart because he is gigantic and they are
that won't last long by the looks of it.
Exactly. So he's a great example of kind of like that's a preview of what dungeon bosses will look like. By the way, I mean he's got multiple attacks. He's got a completely different set of AI, and his telegraphs are a lot more lethal and crazy.
I've got to say, I get this feel from you guys that you were very much inspired by vanilla World of Warcraft in some of your design ideas. 40-man raids, world bosses, even the graphic style is reminiscent in some respects in terms of you've gone for a much more colorful, vibrant, more interpretive style as opposed to ultra-realistic. So just how many times did you wipe in Molten Core?
You know, it's something we talk about a lot. Our developers, some of them are from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So we have people from Warhammer, City of Heroes, EverQuest 2. We have a lot of devs that have worked on MMOs. So, and we look at the stuff that we love and want to do and have more of, and we look at the stuff that fans in general kind of have been saying, you know, we want to see more of this stuff. So there was a lot of Molten Core wipes, sure. But I think, again, it's that percentage of people that want to get in and have some content like that.
Well, I think it's safe to say that there's still a market for it. I mean, World of Warcraft is still around and massively healthy.
Yes,
so there is a market for it. If I'm totally honest, I personally left WoW a while ago, but I was an old-school player from vanilla, and I played a lot of TBC as well, and I think that was probably my favorite time in the game. And I do kind of miss 40-man raids, even though I thought I wouldn't. As soon as they were gone, I'm like, yeah, you know, that was an interesting feel.
So we have a few 1%ers, I call them, at the studio. And what we often say, or we'll talk to them and we're like, hey, what would you think of this, or what do you think of that? And we always say, like, what do you think of the 40-man raids? He's like, I'll hate doing them, I hate them, and I will still do them.
Yes.
You know, it's the weirdest thing about hardcore people. They're masochistic, and they will do those.
We kind of
things.
are. I mean, the thing is, the payoff is worth it. I remember wiping so much in pretty much every dungeon we ever went into. We raided for hours and hours and hours and hours. But once you killed that boss for the first time, and once you achieved that particular level, it felt great. There's nothing like it. There just is absolutely nothing like it.
Right. So real quick, this is a discovery. These are random things in the environment that I can find and interact with. I can pop it up. There's a strange bot generator. This will give me a buff. Sometimes it's a dungeon. Sometimes it's loot. Sometimes who knows what it is. I'm getting accelerated experience. So my XP gain is increased by 50%. Nice. This is due to be balanced, by the way, because our system designer right now is probably crapping himself that there is something like that in the game. Yeah. So we're going through that stuff pretty regularly, and that's just another example of the dynamic content. That is, there is no map as to what will be there. You know, that's a nightmare for our QA department because they have to basically say, like, oh, I hope I find everything that discovery has.
Probably won't.
Yeah, exactly. So this is another soldier holdout, and I hope I survive this because, like I said, my level.
It's high level.
Yeah. So.
Well, if you do, you're going to get a whack ton of experience by the looks of it.
Yes, indeed. So another one of these, it's a holdout. We have, like I said, multiple kinds. This one is with the Moodies, who are raising the dead. And I don't even know of a touchstone to really compare these guys to, but they're just little.
I can't think of anything in particular.
Yeah, they're just little evil undead bastards.
Yeah,
is what I would call them.
That works.
Yeah,
that's the official marketing description. That's going in the blurb. It's going to happen.
It's approved.
Yep.
By nobody, but I'm still going to do it. So the other thing too that you just saw, I vacuum looted a skull. So we have a public event, which is in the middle of town, where you can put skulls on spikes, and you get rep.
Right.
We want to have different rep mechanics in different zones because it gets boring just killing the same thing for faction and stuff like that. So we basically set this thing up to where you can either do the game hunter stuff I was talking about earlier, or you can just bring these skulls back and you can start public events where you will get a buff for finishing it up and get rep.
Sure. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, just for the purposes of people knowing,
Yeah.
have you had any thoughts about business model yet?
We have had thoughts about it. We've had discussions and arguments and fistfights and all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
We have not announced it just yet, but I will say that we are definitely not going to have pay to win. That's the question I get all the time.
And that's the answer we always get, isn't it? I've never had someone that says, yes, we're going to have pay to win. Sounds like a great idea. Pay $50, you'll be absolutely better than everybody else.
Right. It works out really well with the player base that actually gives a damn and is playing lots of your game. So we're definitely not going to do that.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's also not exactly a non-confirmation that it won't be subscription.
This is true.
There's the possibility. And that's interesting to me because there's been a lot of chatter over the past year, especially with Old Republic not really doing all that well, and then something like Guild Wars, which is pay once, you get the box, you run the game, being particularly successful.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're even still thinking about subscription is interesting to me.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing. If you talk to people that are on the floor, or if you go to sites and look at comments and forums and things like that, it's almost half and half with people that want subscription. There's a lot of people that say, free-to-play has this certain I don't know, connotation with it. That
it inherently affects the design of the game. There's very few ways around that. It's a concern that was brought up when there was announced that Dead Space 3 would have microtransactions, for instance. It's like, how could you possibly do that without really having this temptation to make the game harder or more grindy to encourage people to actually do that?
Yeah.
It's where business model interferes with game design, which... Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if I'm totally honest, I don't mind paying $15 a month as long as I get everything. You don't try and screw me over on something else.
That's the thing, right? And we're looking at other games out there, and we're looking at works well for them and what doesn't. And I mean, even in design, that's what we do, right? We look at games and go, what's working well for those games and what's working well for us?
And MMOs are so iterative in that regard anyway. I mean, it's the most difficult genre you could ever make.
Completely. And there's a good side and a bad side. The good side is we can look at things that have gone really well in other games and really bad in other games and try not to do that. Or we can just kind of think about the fact that other games have been around for 8 to 10 years and have this huge lead on us that we need to catch up to. So double-edged sword for sure. And I'm fighting a raid boss basically.
Because why not?
Yeah, because we got like 35 seconds. We'll see if I can even survive that. He's basically jumping around, and his ads are just
I think you're
up.
In a little bit of trouble now at this point. By the time we leave.
Yeah, but, at least you're getting an idea of what this guy does, and maybe I can kill this deer because it'll be funny.
Spawning a lot of mobs, kicking up a lot of fuss by the looks of it.
Right. So, but it's an interesting conversation. It's one that we have quite a bit. And, the guys that are working on the payment model, we have this argument all the time because we say, well, what do players think of this? And, we
and
want
you're not going to find an answer that everyone likes.
No, not at all.
It's not going to happen.
Never.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the first part of the demo.
There we go.
So we'll go through it again, and you're welcome to play it if you want to check it out.
Yeah, totally. I will get on it, and we might try the Explorer. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.